85 subscribers on my channel. I uploaded 2 videos. One was for Lokah success trailer and one was the reaction for chapter 2 announcement. Two videos reach, I got a lot of comments as well. And some of the comments said that poi cinema കാണടാ. കഴിഞ്ഞ 2 വർഷത്തിൽ ഞാൻ ബിഗ് സ്ക്രീനിലെ സിനിമകളൊന്നും കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല. അതിനൊരു നല്ല റീസണും എനിക്കുണ്ട്, എന്താണെന്ന് പിന്നെ പറയാം. ബട്ട് ദോസ് കമന്റ്സ് ആക്ച്വലി കൺവിൻസ് മീ ടു ഗോ ആൻഡ് സീ ദ മൂവി ലോക. എന്നെ കൺവിൻസ് ചെയ്ത ആ കമന്റ്സിന് എനിക്ക് നന്ദിയല്ലാതെ വേറൊന്നും പറയാനില്ല. ദാറ്റ് വാസ് വൺ ഓഫ് ദി മോസ്റ്റ് എക്സൈറ്റിംഗ് സിനിമാറ്റിക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസസ് ഐ ഹാഡ് ഇൻ എ റിയലി ലോങ് ടൈം. ദിസ് ഇസ് എ സ്പോയിലർ റിവ്യൂ. ലോകം കീഴടക്കിയ ലോകയെ പറ്റി നമുക്ക് സംസാരിക്കാം. Lokah Chapter 1 is the highest grossing Malayalam movie in all of Mollywood with 293.70 crores at the point of recording this video. Then first runner-up is Empuran with currently 268 crores at the point of recording this video. Lokah produced by Dulquer Salman at 30 crores. For a movie like this, I never thought it was possible with something like 30 crores. In the മുമ്പത്തെ വീഡിയോയിൽ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഞാൻ ആദ്യം സിനിമകൾ കാണാറില്ല. One of the films that I really liked from Malayalam industry growing up was this movie called Anandabhadram starring Prithviraj and Manoj K. Jain, character played by Manoj K. Jain called Digambaran. A cinema that I couldn't sleep for like 3 to 5 days because this Digambaran character creeped the crap out of me. Anandabhadram was probably my favorite movie like grown up, and since then I really liked this movie called Mugundharani Associates. I've done a reaction of that in this channel that is like also in my top 3, and for now at this point of recording this video, my favorite overall Malayalam movie is Lokah. The stunning cinematography by Nimish Ravi, Jakes Bijoy's amazing background score, and Yannick Ben's top-notch action sequences. A lot of people thought that Kalyani couldn't pull this specific character off because this character had a lot of weight on her shoulders. Kalyani's character, Chandra, who she is playing, who we later learn the movie as Neely, has been living for like centuries and grasped the concept of a person who has been learning for like that many centuries. It's really difficult. And Kalyani interview പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, ഞാൻ സാധാരണ ഒരാളെ നോക്കി സംസാരിക്കുന്നവനെ she blinks like 10 times. And for a character like that to become Chandra is very difficult, and she kind of did that role really well. I really like the villain character as well, but the biggest issue with the villain character is that we don't get a lot of like to know about. There's no lore about the villain character, and also it felt like the villain character was already a superhero from the beginning, because when they portray every other character except for Kalyani, it was like a very grounded character. Naslin character ആണെങ്കിലും friends in the character ആണെങ്കിലും വേറെ ആരാണെങ്കിലും like the other police also was grounded. But this villain police guy, it already felt like he had some superpowers from the beginning. After he turns into a vampire, he did a phenomenal job with that. As a Malayali, one of the coolest things that I got to see in this film was to explore all my childhood lores and myths like Kallinga to Neely, Kadamattu Kathanar, Madan Marda. These are things that we Malayalis hear from our childhood. We see in Ambalam. That lore being explored by Malayalam cinema, moreover creating a whole cinematic universe from that is phenomenal. And I kind of wish conjure Satan and sell my soul, and the soul of it, if I could see this film without spoilers, then I would probably go ahead and do it. And I think somebody commented in my like reaction video telling that, you know, it's kind of spoiled for you because like one of the biggest reveal was the Neely reveal. I wish I could have gone to this movie without the spoiler. Would have given me goosebumps if I like got that reveal at the right time. And that fight scene, man, there are 2 favorite fight scenes that I had. Climax one, of course, and the kids fighting sequence is so good. Like it was a regular fight scene, there was no VFX and all too much involved in it, and that kid handled it really well. 3 action choreographers in that undarnu, and all these 3 people are like top-notch action choreographers who have worked on projects like Uncharted, which has some of the most phenomenal choreographies I have seen in entirety of like the movie industry. Some of the best action choreographers in Hollywood are idinu kondu vannu, and they did a fucking phenomenal job with that. As I said, the cinematography, the music, the costume design, color grading, the editing, VFX. For 30 crores, I did not know it was possible. When I saw Minnal Murali, I thought, okay, that's where Malayalam industry is currently at. At least they are trying something new, and with that kind of budget, at least they can pull this off. So something like Lokah would be like 5 years away. And now they are dropping Lokah that I never saw that coming. We had these kind of things across Hollywood a lot, and we never had a lore like this in India. And this is the first time something like this is coming to India, and I'm really glad that it was Malayalam industry to do it. Something I hate about Bollywood is that they always, whenever they portray Kerala or like Malayalam, even like whole of South India, they portray it in a very static way. And they released a movie called Param Sundari, portraying in a Kerala kind of fashion. Meanwhile, Kerala is making movies like Lokah Lokah, let me just tell you something. If Lokah was actually a Bollywood movie, it would have probably collected twice the amount. Kerala story and all what they have done to push the propaganda, even though there are like a couple of cases which is factually correct, what they have portrayed Kerala as, like, it is so much brain rot, man. IMDb rating is over 8 currently, Rotten Tomatoes 95%. We cannot trust the reviews right now. We'll have to wait it for some time to actually get the proper ratings. And the Times of India is rated at 3.5, which is fine actually, because generally Times of India critics does not rate any movie really well. It's mostly like 3 and all, and 3.5 is decent for the rating. But what they have given for the description, I don't really agree with. I do have problems with this movie, but that is not what the critics said. Now, when you have phenomenal expectations of a movie like this, I heard everything positive about movie. My expectation was beyond the roof, and the first part kind of met that expectation. I never thought with that kind of expectation it will meet that. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ second part എനിക്ക് പല സ്ഥലത്തും കുറച്ച് underwhelming ആയിട്ട് തോന്നി. For example, Chandra entry was so good, but it felt a little ripped off. For example, there's a movie called The Mask, and one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite actors of all time is Jim Carrey. So there's a scene, The Mask, the character The Mask, and a police officer, which is similar to what Dominic has done in this movie as well. Even though he did a really good job and the VFX was also very good, it did not reach the Jim Carrey level, because Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey. That is something else, like one of the best comedians of all time. A few things, right? Not just that. If you have seen this movie Morbius, the action sequences that you see, there's like vampire fight scenes and all in Morbius, and those action sequences are very similar to the action sequences in Chandra. But I think Chandra did a better job than Morbius for some reason. There are a lot of elements that they copied from Morbius, I believe, because these the things that they go right side കൂടെ പോകുന്ന കുറേ സാധനങ്ങളുണ്ടല്ലോ fight ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, vampires fight ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, so അതൊക്കെ it came from Morbius. One thing I really liked about this was that when you see something like Man of Steel and all, when Superman fights with like other people from his planet, from Krypton, when you land a punch, right, you can see the impact, because there's like so much power in that punch. You can actually feel the impact. Similarly, in Lokah, when these two vampires fight, when Kalyani and the villain Sandy fights, you can see the impact of those punches, and that's like a very phenomenal. I really like that addition to it. There was like a little overuse of slow motion, but that actually made it look really good. So I am not complaining about that. If you look at movies like Man of Steel, they don't use too many slow motion. Even though there are slow motions which might make it look good, like when Superman lands a punch on a guy, they actually show the whole thing. Right, the guy going through like blocks of bricks and breaking all those things and falling down, and that is significantly difficult to do with VFX. I do like the realistic element in Man of Steel, but I'm comparing Lokah with Man of Steel. Okay, Malayalam cinema has gone to a level that I don't have anything else in the Indian industry to compare it with. I just have like the best films in Hollywood to compare it with. Nothing else. I will tell you, it might not have reached like the level of the best Marvel movies, but I've seen worse Marvel movies than Lokah. Another thing was that the Dulquer fight scene and the Dulquer entrance could have been significantly better for me. I was expecting to see Odeon, and what I saw was a samurai ninja. There was nothing I could relate to like Dulquer's costume or what he did to a Odeon actually. When you say Odeon, it's mostly a shapeshifter, but everything that Dulquer did, like the couple of katanas that he were using, the ninja stars, and the bomb that he was using to teleport from one place to another, all of things represent a proper ninja. I've seen so many ninja movies, especially the Hollywood ones like G.I. Joe, or you can take Deadpool for example. Even in those kind of movies, the action sequences are like over the top. That's why my expectation was too much when I saw Dulquer, and the action sequences could have been better, and the introduction could have also been better, because since he was a shapeshifter, right, I was thinking that the guy who was tied up behind the back, he might have like turned into Dulquer or something like that. They might have pulled off something like a Tom Cruise, taken the mask off or something like that. That did not reach the mark for me compared to the rest of the movie, but it was really good. The movie was very funny actually. There was this one guy who was like sitting with glasses in the back. He cracked me up a lot. I don't know why. And Nasleen's like that adorable character, right? ഇവിടെ രക്തമല്ലാതെ എന്തെങ്കിലും കുടിക്കാനുണ്ടാവും, കുടുംബക്കാരൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെയാണോ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കുന്ന ചെറിയ ചെറിയ ഡയലോഗ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ക്രാക്കിംഗ് മീ അപ്പ്, ആൻഡ് ആ ഒരു ഫണ്ണി എലമെന്റും അവർ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. And I cannot go ahead with this review without mentioning the transitions, man. Some of the transitions are phenomenal. There was one scene where like somebody throws the salt in the table, and that transitions into a night sky with the salt being the stars. There was one transition where they were showing like the lights. Patient is laying down and you have the lights on top, right? That is converted to a whiskey glass with like ice. So those kind of transitions are only something I think I've seen in Malayalam movies. I've never seen anything like that even in Hollywood movies. Have I? I've seen that in Tallumala. I think his editing, Cheman Chako, he does bring that certain element into the table. Whenever we see superhero movies, it's never grounded. Even in Marvel and DC movies, one of the biggest things is that you only see like superhero kind of problems with like superhero movies. You don't see like real life problems, and that's something that Malayalam movie has captured, even with movies like Minnal Murali. So we see like the real life problems of a common man, and then the transition to like superhero phase. There are a lot of real issues addressed over here, like a girl being stalked at night, a girl stalked by her ex-boyfriend threatening her with acid, and that entry of Kalyani and that fight scene was like so good. And even being a superhero, Kalyani has to like clean up the floors and do all the things on her own, and she nailed with that white chudidar, right? That was wow. Kliye Kliye song. I don't know whose decision was that to put that Kliye Kliye song, the icing on the top. Okay, that was so good. I think it's really nice that they brought Neely in this one, because I know after introducing the other characters, there will be like some Marvel kind of event that like these people have to come together. All of them has to come together, and when we see Neely, we like lose our shit. So I'm waiting for that moment. I know that Dominic has already planned the script for that. In the second half, on the contrary, I thought the story was a little bit lacking though, especially with the Garuda force and all. They were trying to like take the lady down. I thought it was like just for that fight scene. I'm just coming out of the movie and like giving you all my thoughts right out of my head. I don't know what to tell you guys, but thank you. I don't expect to get this much reach like in this small amount of time, probably because I took a very trending topic like Lokah. And if you guys are telling me to go watch Lokah on big screen, I will do it. ഇനി നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നവരെ ശുഭരാത്രി, ശുഭനിദ്ര, പോയിട്ട് വരാം. ദേ പോയി ദാ വന്നു. ഗുഡ് നൈറ്റ്.